I've got to admit that this game did get me swearing in frustration a few times, and no matter what, I just kept on going back to it until I completed it. And when I did, I was so ecstatic to the point that I shouted in relief when I defeated that last boss on how much this game had toyed with my emotions and saying that this is a light-hearted shooter and a relaxing game. But in reality, this is a difficult game what kicked my ass many times. And somehow, I really liked the game and couldn't stop playing it. Fantasy Zone was released in 1986 as a side-scroller shooter where you take control of a living ship called Opa-opa. It was an arcade title at first and then ported later on to the Master System, and that's the one what I've been playing, although the arcade one is on my list. For the story, I did struggle to understand it a little. The Fantasy Zone is under attack from an unknown enemy force in the year 2616, and their plan is to steal foreign currency from the other planets so the evil minions can build a fortress while collapsing the economies at the same time on the other planets. So an inquiry was made, and then they sent Opa-opa to put an end to this invasion and bring peace back to the Fantasy Zone. Odd story, but okay. I found the controls simple and easy to use. Also, Opa-opa has a one-hit kill on themselves to add to the intensity of the game, where this is not an easy game. It can be quite challenging in times, and without a turbo button, your thumb's going to hurt or break. As I found out, the goal in this game is straightforward: defeat a certain amount of living enemy containers in a stage to get to the boss fight, although it's not as easy as it sounds, where foes can come from any direction on the screen, and the amount of enemies ramp up later on the stages. Same with the enemy variety and behaviour, where some of them seem to move randomly. It always had a foe to keep me engaged at all times, what I appreciated, and sometimes it can be hard to see enemy projectiles where it blends into the background. And when I first started off, I found out that it can be hard to tell what is a capsule and what is the background on certain stages, as in these blue volcano things. Besides that, when I knew what was what, I enjoyed the stages and wanted to see the next weird thing what I was facing. The wacky boss fight's got to be my favourite thing about this game, where I was facing a tree log what spits up leaves at me, and then another stage I was facing a snowman with a bigger snowman. Also, whatever this thing is. I enjoyed learning the pattern of these boss fights, however the hardest boss fight for me gotta be this turtle where it shoots projectiles up and then back down. And amount of game over screens I got from that, it was just so painful for me. The boss fights and some enemies drop coins for Opa-opa to spend in the shop, and often I see this shop appears about once or twice in the stage, where you can buy weapons and upgrades, although some weapons do have a time limit, such as a 7-way shot or the laser beam. Also there are engine upgrades, except if you die, you lose everything that you purchase, and you've got to buy them back all over again. Furthermore, certain items do go up in price after purchase. The game can be very brutal. Nevertheless, the heavy bomb's got to be the best weapon in the whole entire game, where it can kill bosses outright, and I can buy as many of them as I want, or afford. I found upgrading the engines too much makes Opa-opa too hard to control by how fast he moves, so usually I kept to the big wings. Also, there is a cell shop. There are 8 levels in total with their own theme, where I could scroll left or right on the screen that loops back round to take out the capsules in any order that I wanted. What I thought was a really good idea that the developers had. Fantasy Zone is a very colourful game, from the levels background to the enemies. Also the capsules had an impression on me, where they look scary cute, to lure the player in, where everything's gonna kill you. It adds to the vibe that this game has with its unique art style. The soundtrack is not that bad for the Master System, and a lot of the time I liked it, and I thought it went well with the game, and how it matches with the theme of the stages, what I appreciated. Yet my favourite one's got to be that boss soundtrack, where it added to the tension of the fight. For how long the game is, I would say no more than 25 minutes, but on the other hand, to master it is something else, where I played this game multiple times to get good enough to beat the game, and with that, I lost track of time. So in the end, I thought this game is brilliant, and I liked how it challenged me, and I would definitely recommend it if you like the Sega Master System. So have you played it? What do you think of Fantasy Zone? Leave it in the comments below. Until next game, I'm off.